Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you've had a very wonderful week here. Let me know where you're tuning in from today in the chat. Today I'm in the Tampa Bay area, Florida, where I reside. Um, and yeah, it's a crazy summer season already. For those of you who are familiar with Florida and or hurricanes and storms and all of that sort of thing. It has been an unusually busy summer already with the storms. But nonetheless, just trying to deal with being in Florida in the heat and the storms and all the things that typically come our way. For those of you who are brand new to Mental Health Moment is essentially about how do you become the best version of yourself so you can show up powerfully for yourself and for those around you. So every week I am on here giving different tips to help your mental health, your wellness, because when you help yourself, um, which is amazing for you, you're also helping the people who are around you as well. So on a past mental health moment, and I can't remember when it was, maybe a year or two ago or so, we did something called a mental health detox. I talked about a mental health detox, and I'm going to bring that back again with some other tips, though, related to how you can have a mental health detox for you, because a lot of times there's nothing wrong with, there's like a gazillion detoxes out there that I've seen physically that you can do for your body. But also, a lot of times it's important, of course, a mental health moment to be talking about how are we making sure that we're also functioning in a healthy way emotionally and mentally, right? In addition to the physical side. And again, thanks for those who are still starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So, these are a couple of tips that I am going to leave you with this week related to how do you have what I call a mental health detox. But before I share those tips today, I do want to remind you all, because it's coming up next week, which is crazy. I feel like the summer flew by here. Next week on Wednesday, August 14th, I will be hosting my very first growth mindset and self-care virtual summit. It is completely free to register. You can go to mindsettrainingsummit.com and register. When you register, you will get a link from Zoom straight to your inbox with the login information for that day. So essentially, it's a virtual summit. It starts at 9 a.m. Eastern time and goes to 1 p.m. Eastern time. It is going to be recorded as well, but we would have to know, well, who's registered, obviously, to send the recording to. So make sure you registered. I know some people said, I can make a couple of hours out of that day, maybe the morning slot or the afternoon slot. But all the information also about the speakers is on mindsettrainingsummit.com. I personally have known many of those speakers for years. They're super phenomenal speakers. It's all about how do you, just like mental health moment, how do you work on becoming the best version of who you are in the space of mindset, in the space of overcoming limiting beliefs, in the space of putting together your self-care plan. Like, those are the topics that the speakers will be talking about. So again, I want to invite you all to that. It is next week, August 14th. So please be sure to register. And this first one is completely free to the community. Trying to think what else. I think that's all my announcements before I get started today. But mindsettrainingsummit.com again has all the information. There's a couple quick questions and you can get registered for the event. And be sure to share with friends, family, and colleagues as well, because we still have some more openings until next week, when the summit, of course, will be live virtually. And then we'll have some recorded clips afterwards as well. Okay, so back to mental health moment. So in this mental health detox, a couple things for those of you who are my note takers and take some notes today, but a couple of things for you to be thinking about. The biggest thing, and I know you've heard this before, but this is a reminder that oftentimes we need to disconnect to reconnect, if that makes sense, right? So disconnecting yourself, when you think of a detox for your mental health and wellness, disconnecting yourself depends on what it is that you need. we always talk often on mental health moment to really sit, which is really hard because we're often busy. We don't take the time for self-reflection like we need. But you really have to first assess, like, what do you need in this season of your life? And what do you need to disconnect from? So for some of you, you might be like, you know what, I really need to disconnect from screen time. Like maybe you're spending too much time watching television, or maybe you're spending too much time on your cell phone or on social media or wherever it is for you that's a huge distraction, which can affect your mental health as well. Maybe you need to take that step back for you, right? Maybe that's where you need to disconnect. Maybe there's other activities or maybe other habits that you have in your life that for you, you recognize, you know what, this isn't the healthiest thing I need to be doing. So let me try to disconnect from these things or this group of people or, whatever it is for you that you need to do for your mental health. So that's the start of a mental health detox, if you will. And then the other piece of it, and thanks for those who are still starting to join here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Today we're talking about a mental health detox because a lot of times we physically, well, for some of us, maybe you physically detox or you think about ways to have healthier habits for your physical body, as you should, but also our mental health and our emotional health is important as well, critically important as well. So a mental health detox, especially this time of year, you all, because before you know it, we will be at the end of the year for some of you celebrating holidays or other things coming up towards the end of the year. It just tends to be a very busy, hectic time of year. So it's really important for you to almost prep yourself emotionally and mentally, along with physically and spiritually, to get through the hectic, busier times that tend to come about. I know for us here in Florida, next week school starts. Maybe some of you are in that boat too, like maybe you have kids or grandkids in school, so school is about to start, and like I said, the holidays and all these sorts of things. So the first thing to think about, what are your needs, and then the second thing is, what do you need to disconnect from to really start to reconnect. So so what happened this summer, I think I shared this with you all earlier this summer, but when my family and I went on vacation this summer, we went to Cancun for about a week. And fun fact, that was when Hurricane Beryl, if some of you heard of that, also happened to want to come to Cancun area. So that's a whole nother story. It The hurricane actually ended up hitting about 2 hours south of where we were. We couldn't get out of Mexico in time. Whole other story. But nonetheless, one of the positive days that we were there, we went to this water park called Shalha. Beautiful place. And what was interesting there, because I'm a person, you all, I like to take pictures. I'm that person that's like taking pictures. Like food comes on the table, I'm like, wait, hold up. Like my friends and family gotta take the pictures, or taking pictures of just events, or taking pictures of things that happen. I'm a big picture taker with my cell phone. So nonetheless, so we go there that day to the water park, and they had this package. I was like, thank you, Lord. They had this package where they're like, you know what? It's a water park. So take your cell phone, put it in the locker, and of course, it's a fee, but you could buy a package where they in the park will basically take all the pictures. There was like selfie stations and different places, even when you're in the water, they're like, we'll take all the pictures. All you have to do, put your phone in this locker and like enjoy your day. Right. And I was like, this is amazing. And what was weird, you all? That day that I was there, when I thought about it, I was like, this is the longest amount of time, because it was a whole, I don't know, 8 hours or however long we were there, a whole long day of no connection to my cell phone except for a quick second. And I had to talk to my receptionist, but pretty much the whole day, like, no, it was such a freeing time. And sometimes we don't even recognize that we need that. And that was not planned, but it was like, okay, let me take advantage of this, or I'm not constantly taking pictures of everything, because the park was going to do it. And it was such a calming time though. And I didn't even realize, and that this is what happens to a lot of us. I didn't even realize during that time. I was like, man, I was in a mode where I was like just constantly checking cell phones or maybe scrolling or doing whatever I was doing on my phone. But having that like break from the phone was incredible. And it was incredible for clarity, and just not having to check a message, or seeing what was going on in the world. And fun fact, you all, when I went back to my phone, the world didn't fall apart, because sometimes we think, oh my goodness, we can't take breaks from, fill in the blank, our phones or our emails or whatever it is, but a lot of times we really do need that. So that's just one example. And again, that for me, it was a phone. For you, maybe it's TV or social media or some other type of screen time for you. But again, you have to assess for yourself, like, where is it that you need that break to disconnect and reconnect. The other thing I wanted to read you all some examples today, and thanks for those who are still starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I wanted to read, or not read the whole thing, but there's 10 what I call mood boosters, right? So 10 things that you can also do. So during this mental health detox time for you, there are also ways that you can think about, because a detox, yes, sometimes could be um, cleansing yourself, if you will, if you were doing it physically, but emotionally and mentally, not only are you maybe taking something away and disconnecting, but you can also add things into your life that are going to help you emotionally and mentally as well. So here's 10 quick mood boosters that you can think about. I'm going to give you 10. If you're a note taker, jot them down. I'll also put them in the chat. Here's the thing. I am going to give you 10. Now, some of them you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that. I don't feel like doing that. I don't think that would make me happy. Fill in the blank, right? Like our brains sometimes go to that automatically. So I'm giving you 10. You don't have to do all 10, right? But hopefully there's a couple on this list where you go, you know what? Let me start to incorporate that more. Or maybe it's something on the list that I read to and you're like, you know what? I used to do that, but let me start to do that again for my happiness, for my mood. So you can work on increasing the level of endorphins in your body. So you can work on reducing your cortisol levels. We talked a whole lot about that on another mental health moment. But these are the things that are important when you think about how do you get into a different mindset? How do you shift emotionally? How do you shift mentally, right, into a better place, which hopefully many of us want to do that, healthier place for us. Okay, so let me read and type some of these for you guys. So the first one, if I can put my phone here, okay, is dance to your favorite song, right? And let me see if that wants to go through. Yes. Okay, good. Making sure that wanted to go through. So again, if you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't feel like doing that, I don't want to do that, that's not something that brings me any joy, then don't, right? That's why I'm going to list a lot of different things. Is this something I like to do? Absolutely. Because I play a lot of music um, in my house, just doing things if I'm cooking or cleaning or doing something in the house. Usually I have some type of music on, and I do like to dance as well in the privacy of my home though. So the other thing to think about, okay, good. I think it's going through. For some reason it's slow. Okay, good. The other thing to think about, and I know you've heard this before, but I'm going to remind you, number 2 is laugh out loud. Laughter, it's a cliche to say, yes, laughter is the best form of medicine, but it really is, even in the times, especially in the times that are hard and difficult. No, you may not be laughing all day because things are hard and difficult, or maybe you're going through something um, very difficult and you feel depressed or you feel anxious or you're feeling really strong emotions. So this is not by any means like a cure all for anything, but finding pockets of joy, finding pockets of laughter, it really can do something to elevate your mood, whether it's through, I mean, if you like comedy, if you're watching a funny movie, if I know there's a bunch of like comedy podcasts now, like something on YouTube, whatever it is for you, that you can laugh out loud. There's so many, I feel like there's so many videos, you all right now, so many viral videos that are actually pretty funny. I feel like we all have access to that at this point. Like there's things that go viral and they're funny and we get a chuckle out of them. Like even those little things, that's really important too. So that's the second thing. The third thing is, make sure this is going through. Wow. For some reason, these comments are going through really slowly. Hopefully you guys can see these comments. Let me know in the chat if you can actually see the comments. But the third thing is taking a walk. So as basic as that sounds, again, these are all things that can boost your mood, little quick things. Taking a walk could mean 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever amount of time that you have, but it's almost disrupting the pattern in your brain, because some of us sometimes get stuck So we get stuck on something that happened to us today or something that happened to us yesterday or happened to us in childhood or whatever it is. And it's working on disrupting the patterns in your brain to try to almost reconnect to a more positive place. And again, I don't want to minimize. There are some really, really hard, difficult things that we go through. So this is not by any means a cure. This is not a substitute for therapy. Some things just take a lot more time and a lot more intervention, but these are quick things that you can do that can boost your mood. All right, number 4. Um, oops. So, okay. The other thing, as a reminder, eating a quick, healthy snack. Really important to what that looks like depends on your, your own physical body, but sometimes we can also elevate our mood by what we're eating. And that's a whole nother mental health moment on that. But absolutely, it can provide quick boost, quick energy boost, as well as elevating your mood. Quick, easy thing to do. The other thing, let me put in the chat here. All right. The other thing to try is aromatherapy. If you haven't already, there's a gazillion ways to try aromatherapy, but even if it's burning a candle that smells good, like that's the simplest way for aromatherapy. There's so many things on the market right now. I feel like when it comes to the scents, that's again another whole mental health moment. But the point is, how do you work on shifting your mood? How do you work on um, almost elevating your mood sometimes? And this is not, again, a cure for any type of mental health condition, but it's sometimes when you're in a little bit of a funk, maybe have a bad day, lighting a candle, smelling something good. There's all these things now you could put like in your shower that release different scents. I mean, there's a gazillion ways to do aromatherapy, but the point is it's a quick thing that you can have a little bit of elevated mood for the time being. Again, not to substitute by any means for any type of therapy or much or another intervention that's needed. Okay. Number 6, we got 3 more to go after this. All right. Number 6 is remembering to connect with a friend. So important. I think we've talked a lot, especially during the pandemic. 2020, I think in 2021, we talked a lot about how meaningful connections can be and how difficult it can be to live in isolation and not be connected to positive individuals in your life. So, connecting with a trusted friend, connecting with someone as a source of support. Also, that person that you call up on the phone and they're just a good person to talk to, or a person you can text and they're just positive. That person, like, make sure you're connecting with them as well. And if you feel right now, if you're like, man, I don't even have that person, that friend or that positive person in my life, then again, reaching out to the community. There's a lot of support in the community and a lot of good people in the community that you can try to connect with, that can give you that support that you need. Number 7, oops, and okay. One of my personal favorites. Number 7 is practice gratitude. One of my personal favorites. It has been life-changing for me personally, to incorporate a gratitude practice every morning that I go to, and also as much as I can try to thank people in my life for different things that they're doing. I can go on and on about the mental health benefits. There's a lot. There's a lot of studies actually on it of how practicing can positively affect our mental health. So I encourage you to find the way for you that gratitude works best. So whether it's a journal, whether it's telling someone, whether you're kind of repeating to yourself, writing it down, like there's a lot of ways to practice gratitude, but that is, yeah, very powerful. One of my favorite ways. Create it. Oops. Wait. Okay, number 8. I hope I typed that right. Okay, number 8 is to start a creative activity. So whatever it is for you that you feel like you're creative with, whether it's drawing, whether it's painting, I mean, whatever skill that you have, in your creativity toolkit. For me, it's writing. Like wherever it is for you that you find you can express yourself creatively, do more of that in the time that you have to do it. So I don't mean like, add 3 hours to your day. Most of us can't do that, right? We're busy. But in the way that you can, make sure that you are adding in some creative time for you, and your brain likes that as well. Number 9, so we got 2 more to go. Number 9 is, if you have one, um, you can play with a pet. So I personally don't have any pets, but if you have a pet, dog, cat, or whatever type of pet that you have, there's also research that shows the benefit of that. What was interesting actually was this past weekend, I was speaking at the Mind Masters Summit that I've been telling you guys about for the last couple of weeks with the Jackson Action Foundation. Just amazing event for youth and families. And they had for the kids there some basically like therapy dogs that came. There were a couple therapy dogs that came, and the kids loved it. They're middle schoolers. They absolutely loved it. It was so cool to see. And I mean, if you think about it, like there's animals now that are trained as emotional support animals and therapy dogs, and do so many really cool things. So you don't have to necessarily have an emotional support animal, or a trained animal per se, but whatever type of pet that you have at home, if you have one, then even cuddling with them, spending time with them, that has a lot of benefits and can boost your mood as well. And number 10, these are not in any particular order. These are just some examples for today. Last one. Oops, if I can type. Okay. So for those of you just joining, we were going through 10 mood boosters, different things you can do for a quick reset, recharge of your mood, increasing your energy levels. Again, not a substitute by any means for therapy, not a cure for any mental health condition, but different things that you can try um, at home. So the last thing, number 10, was listening to uplifting music. So whatever type of music for you that you can just turn on, it's kind of similar to number 1, but dancing to music or just listening to music that's calming for you, soothing for you, puts you in a good mood. You know what type of music that is. It doesn't matter if the next person's like, why are you listening to that? Right? It's for you. Whatever brings you joy, whatever uplifts you. Okay, so those are my 10 for today. Again, just a quick reminder, especially for those who tuned in a little bit later. I'm hosting my first growth mindset and self-care virtual summit on next week, actually, Wednesday, August 14th. It starts at 9 a.m. Eastern time. The registration is completely free. It is virtual. So if you go to mindsettrainingsummit.com, you can get all the information, learn about the speakers. I know it's going to be amazing because of the speakers that are going to be there. I know them personally, and they're the most amazing, phenomenal people that I know. They're just amazing. So they'll be talking about how to overcome your self-limiting beliefs, how to set up a self-care plan, talking about just how to get out of your own way, really, and dealing with negative thought process, like how to get through that. It's gonna be so great what they have to offer. So mindsettrainingsummit.com is again where you can go to get that information and where you can register for free. This is the first year that I'll be hosting that, so I'm super excited about that. I want to invite each and every one of you. If you have any questions, you can always reach out on any of my social media platforms or connect with me on my website, Dr.NekeshiaHammond.com, DRNEKESHIA Hammond.com. And other than that, have an amazing week. Be sure to work on your own mental health detox. Think about what that could look like for you. Add in some of these mood boosters for you. Incorporate that into your lifestyle. Have an amazing week. Be blessed. And I will see you all. Have a great week. Bye, guys.